I'm Joseph Patrick, co-founder of Lamont Bros. And today I want to give you 10 questions that you should ask yourself and answer as you start the planning process for a kitchen remodel. First, identify what are your goals. And the way I like to do it is I like to make 3 distinct lists: your must-have list, your nice-to-have list, and your dream list. And the must-have list are the things that you've got to do to make the project worth it for you. Often people want to get more space, or they want to improve the aesthetic. They have to do this, or they're not going to do the project, and it's not worth it for them to go through the pain of a kitchen remodel or the expense of a kitchen remodel. Then you want your nice-to-have list. This often is the biggest list, where I really would like to get this item, but if it came down to it, I would still do the kitchen remodel if I didn't have to have this. Often things like double ovens, larger sinks, an island, sometimes fall into this category. And then there's your dream list, where if money was no object, if space had no constraints, this is what I would love to see happen. Second, ask yourself, what type of cooking do I do, and what type of specialized equipment might I want? Do I do a lot of different types of cooking that use large pots? Do I do a lot of cooking with a lot of spices? Sometimes, based on the type of cooking, your designer is going to recommend that you use a larger hood vent, or you change the type of range you use, or you have a pot filler, or you don't have a pot filler. So all of those decisions that you're going to make with your designer through the design process are influenced by how do you personally actually use your kitchen. Third, who's going to be in your home using the kitchen? Do you have kids? Are you planning on having kids? Do you entertain a lot? All of the answers to those questions are going to influence what type of materials are you going to use. How much space are you going to need for guests? Do you want a space for kids to be sitting there working on their homework while you're cooking dinner? All of those are going to influence the planning process to make sure the materials are durable and the space is laid out correctly. Do you have any allergies or health issues that you want to consider as you think about doing the remodel? Now, these are often allergies to or sensitivities to VOCs, volatile organic compounds, or other materials that we're bringing into your home. When you're working with a designer, they're going to be specifying materials that are brought into your home from the outside, and sometimes those materials are constructed in a way that has quite a bit of glues and other things that increase the level of VOCs in your homes. Other times, you can specify materials that have low levels of VOCs or other things that have the potential to cause allergic reactions. You want to be aware of that and be thinking about that. Are you somebody that tends to be sensitive to those things, or is that not a high priority item for you? Another question to ask yourself and ask your designer is, what have other people accomplished that have homes similar to mine? About 90+% of all the housing stock in America is what I would consider builder grade or builder designed housing. It's a standard floor plan from 1940 or 1910 or 1970 or 1995 that was designed by maybe an architect in the very, very beginning, but it's not a custom design home. And so because of that, there's a lot of opportunities to look around and say somebody with a similar floor plan and a similar home did this with their space. Does that accomplish any of the objectives that I have? Next, ask yourself, what is my style? The answer could be, I don't know. You could have a very defined style. Everybody's on a different spectrum, but what you want to do is ask, what are those things that I like and what are those things that I don't like? If you know what architectural or interior design style you love, that gives your designer a big head start. If you don't, just start collecting photos of, I like these colors and I like these kinds of things and I like this amount of detailing in different kitchens that I've seen or that I do see online. So these last 4 questions have to do with your plan or the process, and they'll help educate both you and the designer you're working with in order to craft the best kitchen for you. The first one is, how long do you plan to be in your home? If this is for your forever home, then we might think about some different things, think about different materials, think about costs a little bit differently. If you're planning to be here for 10 years, then we want materials that are going to last and look amazing in 10 years when you go to sell, so you don't feel like you have to remodel the kitchen again in order to put the house on the market. Same thing's true with 5, same thing is true with 2. And so thinking about how long you plan to be in the home is important. Next, are you planning on living through the kitchen remodel while it's getting constructed? If you are, you're going to want to plan and consider appropriately both the timeline, how long is the remodel going to take, how can you set up a good temporary kitchen. We've got another video you can visit on our website that kind of walks you through what you need to think about to set up a good temporary kitchen, but that's essential if you're living through the project. If you're not going to live through the project, you need to plan ahead in order to secure housing outside of your house. And so the planning for that is going to look a little bit differently. Next, what's your timeline like for the project? Is there a particular date you have to get it done by, or not? Sometimes people like to stretch out the design process and take a lot of time exploring different concepts, and that's great, especially if it's your 10-year home or your forever home. But other people don't have that luxury because they really want to get it done by a particular date. It'll also influence what types of products you choose or what company you decide to work with based on their availability. Last, you want to think about what my budget for the project is. And this is related to how am I going to fund it? Some people save money, some people do a construction or renovation loan, some people refinance their home. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but you want to think about how I'm going to finance the project. Then you want to think about what's my home going to be worth at the end of the project. And this will vary for different projects, and you can get a realtor's assessment, but that's an important number to know about. And then, should I do everything now or should I break it into phases? And this question, may be answered by how I'm going to fund it, how much funds are available. And then you want to ask the partner that I'm going to start working with, the contractor and designer, ideally a design build firm, do they have a real clear budgeting process they can articulate to me? If they don't, then you're really probably set up for some surprises. If they can articulate a clear budgeting process, you're probably in very safe hands. Thanks for watching. The next step in your remodel planning journey should be to go to our website and download the Home Remodeling Toolkit. This will give you 5 tools we created that help you with a lot of the questions that we talked about in this video. Thanks.